Hello and welcome to episode 12 of We Watch TV, the podcast about TV that we watch. My name is Daniel, and as always, I'm joined by Hope.
Hey.
And we've got a good episode for you today. We got a lot of good fun topics. Continue conversation about the shows that we've been talking about for the last couple weeks. But before we get into that, we do have a birthday celebration that we have to bring up. It is Hope's birthday coming up in the next week, and we're all very excited about it. I've showered her with gifts, including a trip to leave me once again. I'm not going. She's going with the people she prefers to hang out with.
Oh, that's not true. I like to hang out with you, but it's good to hang out with friends as well.
Well, that's good to hear, at least.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Oh, is it fine? So it is my understanding that you have prepared a little bit of a segment here to celebrate your birthday that is relevant to our podcast topic.
About We Watch TV. I always like to watch holiday-themed episodes before, like, Christmas. I know there's a lot of Thanksgiving-themed episodes. Well, one's birthday is not simply a day. It's an event. It's a week. Some people even do a month. I'm not that extreme, I promise. I'm not that extra. But to kind of get, like, that birthday excitement generating and to go along with this podcast, I thought, what are some of my favorite, like, birthday-themed episodes of some of the shows that we watch? So I already had some, of course, in my head that I already knew about, and then I did a quick little Google that reminded me of some of the other show episodes, and I was like, yes, that was great. And I prepared a list, and we watched all of these birthday episodes here. This is in no particular order. I'm just going to read the order of the list, because my favorite one on here is, did I even write my favorite one on here?
I would check out if you didn't.
I actually didn't because we knew we were going to watch that one.
What's your favorite one then?
My favorite one, which is not on the list because this is the one I usually watch every birthday I have, is Friends Season 7, the one where they all turn 30.
Yeah.
I think it's, of all the birthday episodes that we watched, would you say that's your favorite as well?
I like that one. We rewatched the New Girl one, and I think because I kind of like New Girl a little bit better than Friends anyways, I think I probably lean to that one. I like the cake that they got her.
Let's talk about, we'll circle back to that one in a minute. Let's talk about the best one, the one where they all turn 30. I didn't even need to write it down on my list. It's one of my favorite episodes of Friends. Like, Joey's like, why, God? Why are you doing this to us? Let the others grow old. We had a deal.
And then the scooter, the
and
Razor
now
scooter.
Chandler. Oh, yeah. Rachel's boyfriend at the time, Tag, who was not even 25 yet. He's like, I know how you feel. I'm scared about turning 25. And that used to not resonate with me, but as each year passes, and I'm not going to say how old I am, but let's just say I've now surpassed the age of the Friends with the one where they all turn 30. Every year I'm like, oh, I can see why Tag annoyed them.
Message me on Twitter. I'll let you guys know.
No, don't do that. I'm forever young. But that one's always good. I love Ross in his car. Then, of course, Monica. Your little harmonica is hammered. And then Phoebe, she realizes that she's actually skipped a year.
That checks out with Phoebe.
Chandler really doesn't have much because Joey just ruins Chandler's.
That checks out with Chandler because he wouldn't have wanted to do much anyways.
But he does plan that really nice party that Monica normally liked, and he has to deal with,
Drunk Monica.
But some others on my list, in no particular order that I looked up, we have Toasted. This is from the middle season 9, and it's Sue's 21st birthday. What'd you think of that one? I always love me a good episode of The Middle, especially when
I like that one,
focused.
but my favorite parts is the part with the dad and the son going to the conference.
Oh,
thing.
That's unrelated to the birthday plot because Frankie's up hanging out with Sue at college. So Brick and Mike's the dad, they go off to that little, like, I feel like it's kind of like almost like a Game of Thrones type convention, right?
Seems nerdier
Something
than Game
nerdy.
of Thrones, yeah. But they throw the French fries against the wall. I like that
it's
part.
like the wall of sacrifice.
Yeah, I don't know.
Think. If anybody, The Middle, we'll do a highly underrated comedy. We'll do a whole episode sometime in the future about some of our favorite sitcoms. Don't you agree? The Middle. More people should watch The Middle. It's great. The other episode I have on here is A Piece of Cake from the Golden Girls season 2. Where they reflect back on past birthdays. So we have Rose that plans Dorothy's birthday celebration at what looks like a children's kind of like
maybe
like
a
a Chuck E.
clown.
Cheese vibe, but with a clown. And if you guys really need to watch The Golden Girls. Fun fact, when I turned 30, Daniel actually bought me all of the seasons of The Golden Girls on DVD, and everyone was like, well, was that mean? Was he being a joke like with that? And I'm like, no, that's what I asked for. Because The Golden Girls, awesome
That's what she
show.
asked for. Yes. I
and
wasn't
B.
being
Arthur's
mean.
expressions in that episode, who plays Dorothy, are just chef's kiss.
Listen, folks, I know where the line is with my wife, and I know how to keep myself, mostly how to keep myself from being torn to pieces. So I would not have crossed that line if I thought it was a problem.
What do you think about our Golden Girls?
I always love the Golden Girls. We don't watch them a ton, but I always enjoy our time when we return back to them.
I like Sophia.
Sophia's the best.
I think I like Blanche best, but
Picture it, Sicily.
And the Golden Girls, that is a TV theme song that you never skip. Thank you for being a friend. I'm such a good singer. And the other episode I have on here is the lecture circuit. This is from season 5 of The Office.
It is your birthday.
It is your birthday. And basically that episode, the point of it is that Michael and Pam are out doing lectures at other at other Dunder Mifflin branches. But the whole side plot is that the party planning committee had been dissolved because of the whole Angela, Andy drama, right? Something happened with that. So Angela's not in charge of that anymore. So Dwight and Jim... I like it when Dwight and Jim actually have to work together.
Yeah.
And they're in charge of the party, and they're not good party planners.
The brown balloons and
that weren't even fully blown up. And I feel for Dwight because, y'all, I have asthma and I can't blow up a balloon to save my life. So that's how my balloons look if I blow them up, like small little turds if I had like purple or brown balloons like what they use. And he chose brown because it matched the color of the room. But then Kelly ends up liking her party because it's Kelly's
just because
birthday.
She gets to choose between, what is it, an hour of TV or a nap?
Or an hour of napping.
Nap. Yeah.
And like Creed said, like nothing. I think Creed or one of the characters is like, well, nothing's good on TV at this time. Take
That's
the nap.
true, yeah.
And how does Dwight come in and wake her up?
Bangs trash can lids together.
What would you choose? Like if you were
I'd take
in
the
an
nap, no question.
You would just nap under the table?
Yeah.
It would depend on the time of day. Like, what kind of TV are we talking? Like, can I bring in my Fire Stick? Can I set up my Netflix?
By the time you get all that stuff up, you only got 45 minutes.
Yeah, but you don't understand. Not everybody falls asleep at the pace you do. Daniel's the type of person, people, that will, like, his head hits the pillow, out instantly. It takes me a solid hour before I can even think about falling asleep.
Today, the option would be an hour of phone time or an hour of sleep. Like cell phone.
Scrolling. Okay, I was like, what? Okay, so the next episode, Daniel already mentioned. This episode is entitled Birthday, very self-explanatory, from New Girl Season 3. And Jess and Nick are together at this point, and Nick is kind of put in charge of, like, planning her birthday, which he does. But he doesn't realize that, the party's in the afternoon or the evening, that he still has to do something with Jess the whole day. And Jess is the type that puts a lot of... what do they say? Expectations on her birthday. Probably because Jess, my guess is that Jess, from what I know of the character, New Girl, watched it a million times. Jess is a planner, right?
Sure.
She has that empathetic personality. I see a lot of myself in Jess. I'm not saying I put a lot of expectations on my birthday, but I am the type of, oh, whatever, Daniel, that I always try to make sure that people have a fun birthday. And it's a sweet episode.
Are you telling me that on my birthday, I could have expectations that from the moment I wake up until the moment I go to bed, I'm supposed to be, like, entertained by you?
You are, yes. Daniel is one of the worst type of birthday people.
Stop.
The type that's like, my birthday doesn't matter. I don't care. But he really deep down does care. You're almost like you want what you want, but a very specific way. You want people to care, but you want to act like it's not a big deal. Where I'm just like, it's my birthday week. I just own it. But what if you were talking about a cake from that episode? You want to elaborate on that? Winston and
they
Coach were in
bought
charge
a cake, and I don't know what happened, but like they walk in and open it up, and the cake says "Go to hell, Boomer" on it.
It said "See you in hell, Boomer."
I'll see you in hell, Boomer. Yeah, and I was
they
just
picked up the wrong cake at the bakery.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny.
So then they had to make their own cake. Why do you think they didn't just go buy another cake, like a sheet cake? Was it the comedy of the episode of the two of them?
I mean, it's the shtick of the episode, but if you wanted to try and real world it, I would suggest to you that two men trying to figure this out, they don't know you can go to just a Walmart or someplace and pick up a blank cake.
And shenanigans ensued, as it does on New Girl. Then, of course, Schmidt and his electronics. Nick wanted to make sure he brought the electronics. What do you think about that scene?
He did what?
Nick wanted to make sure. She kept saying, Schmidt, I need you to bring the electronics, but all it was a thumb drive.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I didn't connect those dots that was what he was referring to as the electronics.
The guys from New Girl are a little older than us, so they're probably young Xers. And Nick just seems like an old man sometimes with that.
Yeah.
Like, it was funny. If you haven't watched New Girl, go watch New Girl. The other episode on this list we have entitled Eagleton. That is from Parks and Rec Season 3. It's not completely birthday-centric, but Leslie basically discovers that it's Ron Swanson's birthday. She had always, since they had worked together, she wanted to know when his birthday was. He wouldn't tell her because he really is the type that doesn't want people to know in personal info. But she found out from where, Daniel? How did she find out about his birthday?
Oh, Baskin Robbins, yeah. They always know.
Baskin Robbins always knows. So what'd you think about that episode? I'm always down to watch a good episode of Parks and Rec.
I like that episode. I'd take that birthday.
With everybody. And she ended up, he was so freaked out that she was going to do a big party for him, and she made it perfect.
Trade in the old war movies for a couple Star Treks or maybe the Lord of the Rings. And
have your nice steak dinner.
Have a nice steak dinner with some drinks. Alone in a room. You could be in there if you could keep your mouth shut.
A nice drink. Oh, I could be in there if I could keep my mouth shut?
Sure.
I would have to IMDb the entire cast of your movie. I'm that type of person. I watch a movie for the first time. I'm like, what were they in? How do I know this person? But it's super fun. And then the other thing on this list I have is The Birthday.
I can't believe you made me watch
The Vampire Diaries Season 3. I had to put one serious episode in there. You didn't think it was
just to be sure
bad.
That everybody knows, I've never watched any of the Vampire Diaries, and she drops me into the premiere of season 3 to watch this episode of television.
You stated this. You watched the pilot episode with me, and then you also watched the episode in season 6 where Elena erases her memories of Damon because she's so upset because we think Damon's dead. And you also watched part of the finale with me because you came in when I was sobbing uncontrollably during the Vampire Diaries season finale and was like, you all right? What'd you think? Season 3.
It's not for me.
The Vampire Diaries is a great show. So I love this episode in particular because this episode means so much to me. I am a Delana fan, but I also like a lot of good Stelena moments. And this episode, Stefan and Elena. Stelena, they have a very good scene at the end of this episode where they're not even on screen together, where she and a drop in the ocean. Every Vampire Diaries fan knows what I mean. Beautiful moment. But also we have a lot of good Delana moments. Delana means Damon and Elena. That is my favorite ship, and we learn that that is the moment where Elena did fall in love with Damon, was on her birthday, because he was so selfless. He knew that she loved Stefan and was trying to find him, and he still gave her that necklace that meant hope for them, but they would later get together. It's so good. Did you not like any part of I thought you were enjoying some of it. That's your Captain Kirk. Stefan is your Captain Kirk.
Not my Captain Kirk.
Well, he's going to be your Captain Kirk.
He's going to be playing Captain Kirk on a television show.
Can you say anything good about that episode of The Vampire Diaries, Season 3?
It was 42 minutes long.
Give me at least one good plot pointer. I'm going to talk about this. This episode is going to be 2 hours if you don't give me
I feel like I would also enjoy drinking champagne in a bubble bath.
When was that? Was that
when Damon? The beginning of the episode.
What?
That was at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, when Damon was drinking champagne in the bubble bath.
I was like, that seems like a mood.
It disturbs me that you noticed that before I did, where I was more like fixated on the plot, I guess. Okay.
That was the plot.
Moving on, we also have Back Talk from Frasier Season 7. Happy birthday, Frasier. Can Eddie talk?
Apparently.
Marvin's our dog. Martin, Frasier's dad. And really the point of this episode wasn't so much of Frasier's birthday, but he did throw out his back.
Yeah. The birthday was definitely like second place to the big plot things that were going on about that time in the show.
The big plot in that, like, this episode is pretty huge for Daphne and Niles. Because Daphne and Niles are like the main couple, and this is the episode where Daphne finally finds out, right?
Yep.
About Niles' feelings for her. How do you think that went?
I mean, I've seen it a million times. It can't change anytime we watch it. But
anytime Frasier's like, who blabbed?
Yeah.
He ends up being the one because he's
that's who it had to be to reveal it. If it wasn't Niles just telling her outright, it had to be Frasier blabbing because he was the last person who would have wanted to do that. So.
And he was hopped up on those like back pills.
Yeah.
But then I think it was good when Daphne found out and knew, but Niles didn't know that she knew because they don't know that we know. Name that show. Because then we got to have for the rest of that season, we got to see Daphne be like super into Niles the whole time and kind of have to try to hide it.
Yeah, it was a good little
So that was
switch
funny.
to do that.
So not so much focused on the birthday. Oh, Frasier, he threw out his back when he was blowing out his cupcake, right?
Right.
That
yes.
sounds like something you do someday with all your back issues.
Absolutely.
You can feel for Frasier in that.
I can bend over. I have bent over not backwards, bent over, just picking something up and throwing my back out. So it's completely realistic.
It doesn't
that you
sound
could do
very
that.
pleasant.
It's not at all.
And then the final episode on this list, which I'm sure there are other birthday-themed episodes of TV shows. I know Friends has several where we have Rachel's birthday, but they did not make the list. But the other themed episode is A Year of Birthdays, Modern Family Season 10. And this is when Haley and Dylan have their twins. And they go back through, like, you have Phil's birthday where you turn 50. You have Manny's birthday, Haley's birthday.
I think they got all the the characters on the show.
Yeah,
so.
almost all of them. Did we have Jay's birthday, or was he just wearing a different hat for everybody's? They did
the roast. They did the roast.
Okay, yes, they did. So they did have characters for everybody except for like the little one. No, Joe, because Joe and Manny share a birthday.
Yeah.
So you're right, they did. And then Lily's birthday was ruined by Manny still being upset about his girlfriend not accepting his proposal and his. Would you ever want someone to do a roast for your birthday? Or would that be way too much attention on you?
That'd be too much attention.
You want like a roast that you eat.
Yeah, like a beef roast. Yeah, like the sliders that I can smell right now that are cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes, that.
That was my favorite, one of my favorite episodes of Modern Family, though. And normally I don't like, which this wasn't an actual flashback usage episode because you could tell they filmed these scenes for it.
Right.
But Modern Family, the very first episode where Mitch and Cam adopt Lily and they do the circle of life scene, I loved it how when Haley and Dylan have the twins, and it's Lily who carries in the music, and Mitch and Cam carry in the babies and do the circle of life thing. It's very like that. I know we had an extra season of Modern Family after that, but if they hadn't gotten picked up or something, that would have been a good way to end the show for me.
Yeah, that would have been a fine way to end the show.
It was a good episode, and Haley's just, you see that growth in her, and she's still one of my favorite things about Modern Family, and this again I could chat forever in a whole other episode, is that they have character growth, but they stay themselves. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's very organic.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So that's our list of birthday episodes. So if you guys are celebrating a birthday and want to watch some fun things, there you go. I could send you the list.
So what have we been watching this week?
Well, now hear me out. I know we told you guys that we're not always going to be a sports podcast, but when exceptional sports moments happen, like big things like the Super Bowl, opening day, March Madness, we think it's okay to chat about it a little bit. What?
Sorry, I was about to make a snide joke, being like, "I mean, the Pirates winning a game is one of those exceptional moments."
Okay, but this is an exceptional moment. I'm about to tell you why. We love the Pirates, but if anybody knows anything about Major League Baseball, we all know the 20-year drought, the losing streak, the painful years. Then we had 3 good years, and then it's been back to kind of, we had one season, I think 2017, where they finished over 500, and that was just people like around me that, root for people like the Yankees, etc. were like, why is she so happy? I'm like, listen, I went 20 years without seeing what it was even like to have a winning team. But I could rant about that forever. So we talked about opening day. Pirates played their NL Central rivals, the Reds, won that game, lost the series. Then they went on to sweep the Boston Red Sox. What do you think about that? Are the Red Sox not good this year, or was that just, good for us?
It doesn't matter. They beat the Red Sox, and that's all that matters.
Sorry, Kaylin.
I'm
like,
not sorry
I'm
at
good.
all.
I have
I'm
a lot
not
of World
sorry at
Series
all.
wins, Hope. It's okay. And I know we still love her. She's our favorite mouse hole. And I said mass hole for people. That's a term of endearment that she is actually the one that told me about. But anyway, we also had opening day PNC. And normally I might have not even talked about that, but why was this particular opening day PNC so special to us?
Well, I mean, because it was McCutcheon's first game back at PNC since joining the team, and they went out and brought in some other players from the same kind of era when he was on the team.
Absolutely.
So they made a big to-do of it. Andrew
McCutcheon was basically the face of the franchise for years. Then he, as the Pirates are cheap, womp womp. That is one of my issues with baseball, is that it's very hard for the lowly teams to stay competitive. But that could be a whole other rant. But Kutch is back in the black and yellow, it was cool seeing him on opening day, I think, but seeing him back at PNC on our team was particularly special. We had his mom. She sang the national anthem. His wife and his 2 sons were there. He said he was trying not to cry when he got the standing ovation at bat. That was particularly special.
You could see he was getting emotional.
Yeah, his wife definitely cried. I cried. Daniel, did you cry?
I did not cry. Hope did cry.
It takes a lot for you to cry.
I cried at Star Trek once.
You did. We haven't even gotten to our Star Trek portion of this episode, and there he is. And who else showed up? You said there was other guys from that special, beautiful era.
Well, AJ Burnett was there, and we knew he was going to be there ahead of time. And then
Russell Martin,
we did not know, I don't think.
Apparently, I think we did know. I just forgot about it because AJ had posted that on his Instagram, like in February, but I think he posted that around the time that I probably had the vid.
I get all my sports
so
news.
I don't really
I get all
remember.
my sports news these days from you. So if you don't tell me, I don't know it.
Yes. But yeah, AJ Burnett came out and did the first pitch, and obviously Russell Martin caught for him, was a catcher because he was our catcher back in 2013. And it just, the vibes, I felt like that 2013 wild card game at PNC Park will take you back 10 years ago, apparently. The Pirates, perpetual losers, no playoffs, no seasons even above 500. It was like that city of Pittsburgh that night, like, erupted. All the years of pent-up loss. Russell Martin, he hit that famous home run off of Cueto, and which started the kick us off, Daniel.
Cueto.
The famous moment. It's like probably one of the greatest like sports moments I've ever seen. I would apologize to the Reds fans, but I mean, you guys know what it's like to lose all the time. So I feel like you can at least feel for us in this moment that we got to have that special thing. So it was just like a lot of those little throwbacks, and it's just interesting to me that AJ is back, like came back today or for the game, and Kutch is kind of where he is now.
Kutch is like the older statesman now, the leader of the team, the person who's there to kind of help some of the younger guys get through, and that was very much AJ's role.
Kutch today in an interview said, or after the game, he was like, I'm ready to take on that role. So I thought that was particularly special. I really just that for me as a baseball fan and as a fan of the Pirates, I would consider winning that wild card game like my top like most moment in sports. Even I've seen now the one team that Daniel was like, you didn't mention when you said you're so loyal that you're who was my NFL team, Daniel?
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, you know what? I wasn't alive when they won a bunch of those Super Bowl reigns. I've only seen them win 2. And it's the only time I've ever seen any of my teams win a championship.
You say you've only seen them win 2, but anytime you get into the argument about things like winning championships, you have no problem saying how many they've actually won.
That's right, because that's what the Steelers do. That's what you do. That's what every fan base has their little annoying tick, and that's what they do. But who do I love more? When you first met me, because you were like, ew, you're a Steelers fan, what was the first thing I said to you?
You like the Pirates more.
I said, I like the Pirates more. And you're like, oh, okay, respect. Because at that time, woo, the Pirates were really bad. I could talk about my love of the Pirates all day. But that 2013 wild card game for me was so special. What did I tell you during the game when we were talking about it? How did I rank that moment in my life?
Better than our wedding.
You said you understood. Our wedding was awesome, but
I don't know why you're apologizing. You didn't. You held no bars back when you said that during the game. Like it was like you didn't even stop and consider it for a moment. It was just like, oh, this is better than that.
I was like, that was the best day of my life. Anyway, it was good. It was a fun game. I feel like it was. If you were looking for some stellar pitching to watch, this probably wasn't the game for you. But a lot of people that talk about baseball being boring
or something.
What?
Didn't it end up like 13-9 was the
yep,
final score?
13-9. Ew. Hey, my Pitt people that are watching this, don't you dare reference that number to me in the comments because I just said it in my head. WVU fans, you guys know what I'm talking about. Hearing the word 13-9, but
everybody else is lost.
This way, 13-9 was a good way. But yeah, so lots of hits. Not a great pitching matchup, but I feel like a casual fan would enjoy this more. when you're getting lots of runs.
I mean, that's who they're trying to get in with all these rule changes this year.
Brian Reynolds, clearly the best player on the team right now.
I know it's Brian Reynolds, but every time you say it, I just hear Ryan Reynolds, and I'm like, Ryan Reynolds is on the team?
Deadpool's not on the Pittsburgh Pirates team. But do you agree Reynolds best player right now?
Oh, right now, yeah, for sure.
Pay the man some money.
Cruz has potential, but he's just not there yet.
Quick little insert clip. At the time that we recorded the Pirates segment, something happened afterwards. They did win the game, but O'Neal Cruz fractured his ankle, and we are very sad. So the Pirates are cursed. But let's go Bucks. Do you think that the stingy, no money Pirates will actually pay Reynolds to try to keep him?
No.
No. Well, I'm going to just ride this beautiful high and dream of Bucktober once again on April 7th. Mark the date when I made this comment, April 7th, 2023. And then we can revisit this conversation maybe after the All-Star break and see how my vibe is.
Okay, I'll hold you to that.
All right. So I could talk about baseball all day, but again, we're not really a sports podcast. But we do talk a lot about shows that are set in space. Which Star show? We want to just go right into Picard?
Picard. I mean, was
another brilliant episode.
Yeah, it's a great episode. They're getting better. We got 2 left. I'm excited to see what they do with them.
The data stuff. Oh, got me right in my feels. I might have shed a tear or two.
Well, they got the whole cast back together for the first time in the show.
All in the same room,
sitting around the table, planning on what they're going to do.
It was beautiful,
and that was a really great shot. And now they're going to dig. Now they're digging into the Jack Crusher mystery and trying to figure out what's going on there.
I feel like they gave the fans what the fans have been wanting for years. Like, just have them all together, because it's been like bits and pieces sprinkled.
Yeah.
And just the stuff with like the I feel like, and I'm pretty sure this is the point of the character of Data in Star Trek. The character that is not the human, oftentimes when I'm at me as a viewer, makes me feel the most human emotions.
Yeah. Yes, that was a very
just beautiful.
Intentional with his character on a regular
Brent
basis.
Spiner, am I saying his name
Yes.
right? He is really good at playing just a douchebag too, because like Dr. Sun, I think,
Dr.
or Song Soon, was terrible. Lore,
yes.
is that his Data's like brother?
Yes.
Awful. Independence Day, that guy sucks. Independence Day, great movie by the way, and a classic case of why we should not do sequels off of amazing 90s movies. Anyway, I mean, like the greatest faux presidential speech of all time, but we'll talk about that in July.
During your annual watching?
During my annual watching of Independence Day. Yeah, he played just a douchebag in that. Kind of more of a nerd in that one, but when he's Data, just gets me. So 2 left, but we're going to watch the 2 back to back, because you're going to have to hold off. You cannot watch the second to last episode without me.
That's what I've been told.
Oh, if you do. Oh, man.
What are you going to do if I do? Not watch the last episode?
I would probably just still watch it. Probably nothing. A lot of talk. Very little.
Yeah,
action.
I don't know. I don't have much. I don't have much more else to say about Star Trek right now, other than it's great and I'm enjoying it, and it's what I'm looking forward to most every week.
Same.
I'm gonna be sad when it's over.
Ted Lasso. It's tied for Ted Lasso with me.
I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be sad when it's over. But I'm for the first time in a long time with Star Trek, I'm actually kind of optimistic about the future of the franchise, because I think they've got the right people in the right places. Strange New Worlds is great. I think the person they've got doing this season of Picard is great, and I'm hoping that Paramount actually goes forward and gets him a show.
To boldly go.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up watching Next Generation with my dad, so I did have some familiarity with Star Trek, but I am definitely much more of a Star Wars girl, and I never thought there'd be a day where I'd have 2 shows, a Star Wars that I watch each week, and a Star Trek that I'm looking more forward to the Star Trek. And I'm going to say it again. Star Wars fans, learn to have some chill. Star Trek fans, they'll be like, that was a good episode. That was a great episode. It was fantastic. You're going to love it. That's it. Now, I'm not in a Star Trek Reddit group, so I'll put that aside. But I mean,
they behave very well. I am in several.
Shocker. Cue my shocked face that you're in a Star Trek
I am
Reddit.
in several Star Trek.
You're not in a Dance Moms
Reddits.
Reddit group, though, like me.
I'm not.
Hello. Anyway.
So this episode of The Mandalorian, we're really, we seem to be going through great strides to not talk about it every episode.
Well, there's not a lot to talk about because
how are there only 2 episodes left?
I don't know.
And
I
what
can
in the
tell,
world are they going to do?
I feel like they're in that stalling tactic right now. Like they know they're going to be able to make more seasons as long as they can milk that franchise. And I feel like the plot there's like plot. What plot? It's like been like we have different lines, and I'm like, how are they going to connect all these plot points in these last 2 episodes? Obviously, we're going to have to carry over into the next season. But like Bo-Katan, she has the black saber back.
Dark saber.
Dark saber. Sorry, don't come for me, Star Wars people, that I don't know the exact words. And that was kind of a little loophole that they did to get that back for her, but whatever, it's fine.
I wasn't huge. Like I was like, that's. I mean, I actually, for me, what that does is shine a big light on the stupidity of here is this item that the person who leads us has to have, and oh, by the way, they have to fight and take it from the person.
And there were some fans that just seemed super irritated about Jack Black and Lizzo. I really didn't care. I thought that Lizzo was basically like the fans, the way she's like, "Can I hold him?" with Grogu, and that was just cute, funny.
You know, we had another. They weren't cameos; they were more like special guests. Christopher Lloyd was in there as well.
Oh, that's right. I watched Back to the Future a few times, but I'm not a big Back to the Future person. Sorry, guys, it's a little bit old for me. I watched. They're fine movies, but I'm not like I know people like stan that franchise. So when I think
I'm
of
one of them.
okay. Christopher Lloyd was also in that Hallmark movie with the train that went back in time.
Oh my gosh!
And the mom, Marty McFly's mom, was in the same Hallmark movie with the train. I bet that was intentional that they put those together. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. Sadly, yes.
You said you liked that one.
Anyways,
it reminded me, like the setting though of that like planet that they visited, reminded me of my book that I read, The Princess and the Scoundrel.
Oh, the Star Wars book you read.
Star Wars, but I'm that cool. I've crossed over into and it's canon. That book is canon, but like some of the descriptions, like I was like, oh, this is like my book.
Yeah. I like this episode.
Yeah,
I thought it was good.
It was probably my favorite episode of the season, quite honestly.
Yeah, it's just like it should have been like in a season that is 8 episodes long. It should have been like the 4th episode or the like 3rd episode, right? Like
I felt like we did things though. Like there was dialogue
and advanced the plot, but like I just don't know
how are we gonna sew it up. And you were like, "No, we have like 4 more episodes left," and I'm like, "No, this is an 8-episode season," and you're like, "What?" Yeah, we got 2 episodes to wrap this up.
I guess what irritates me is like they spent that 2nd episode that I liked on Coruscant.
Yeah, we've only seen that girl once since.
I'm having a lot of trouble
how they're going to circle back to it.
How they're going to connect that to what Mando is doing and make it matter at all.
Well, they're obviously after Grogu. Are they going to Walking Dead finale us? Those of you that watch The Walking Dead, and I know a lot of people think it's a great show. We did enjoy it during our time that we watched it, but The Walking Dead suffered from, we're going to draw out the season. We're going to have some slow, methodically episodes. But then at our mid-season finale and our finale...
You're being kind. The Walking Dead was, we're going to do absolutely nothing until the mid-season break and until the finale.
And then we're going to go bananas. We're going to throw everything at you all at once. We're going to be like a business person that runs the Dollar Generals, putting a bunch of Dollar Generals in a bunch of little small towns. We're going to do as much as we can constantly. Everybody in a small town knows that you get bombarded with Dollar Generals.
And it was effective in... It was effective in... getting you to want to come back after that mid-season break or after the season break.
And I know we're going to come back for The Mandalorian regardless.
Except it wasn't effective for me because I eventually just dropped off The Walking Dead. And
I haven't finished Walking Dead either. I need to go back.
It's not that. It's not near. Comparing Mandalorian to Walking Dead in that manner is not.
Yeah, we're going to absolutely come back to watch The Mandalorian. My comparison is, are they going to Walking Dead finale us? Is the finale for Mandalorian going to be insane and throw everything all at once? Or are we just going to be like, all right, that's the end of the season. See you in like 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're going to try and do.
I feel like they take forever to film that show.
Yeah, that's what they're going to try and do. And again, I just don't think they're going to figure. I don't think they're going to do it the same way they did last time. because it's not like they can't. They've already shot their Luke Skywalker.
Are we dark people though? Because one of my friends on Facebook had a picture of, okay, what's the head lady's name again?
The Armorer.
The Armorer. That's hard for me to say. They like doing the Rosie the Riveter pose, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, people think this woman is a good guy. Like, I still don't. I've never trusted her since the moment she's been on screen. I think she's going to be a villain of some sort, and I'm like, hold up. Is she not going to be a villain at all? And I've been reading this wrong the entire time.
No.
She just gives me Shady Boots vibes.
Okay. If she doesn't end up being a villain,
disappointment.
It's not you've been reading it wrong. It's that they've been doing her tone wrong the entire series.
She comes off really shady, and I just don't trust her. I think she has a different agenda, and I like Bo-Katan, but I don't trust Bo-Katan either.
I just don't want the cult to win. I don't want the cult to be the good
like
guys.
Bo-Katan? I love Bo-Katan as a character. Don't
as
trust
a
her
character,
either.
but I don't trust her motivation.
I think she has her own set of.
I mean, let's not forget when we first met her in the Clone Wars, she was a terrorist.
We did get a Count Dooku reference though by
got
Christopher Lloyd. That was fun to get that breadcrumb. Still no mention of Satine. I thought we might get it when he called her princess, or Jack Black's character.
Jack Black's character knew who she was.
Bo-Katan Kryze.
And I thought for a second he might like reference it, but then
it was like a collective hold breath moment. But yeah, Mandalorian. I'm entertained when I watch the episodes.
We're not in the minority.
You know what? My reference is different than Daniel's. You know how I would describe the Mandalorian right now? It's fine. Go listen to last week's episode if you don't know what I mean.
Whereas
how would you describe it? Are you now? It's okay.
It's okay.
that's what I thought. But getting off the nerd chatter of the space shows that we watch. Ted Lasso.
Yeah, continues to be excellent.
Continues to be excellent.
They did it. They did it.
They did what?
They made you feel sympathetic for Nate.
I did, because I can see that Rupert. I mean, I've always known that Rupert's manipulating Nate, but we got a little bit more focus on Nate than what we've had all season, and I was able to see that internal conflict in Nate again.
They had you in like a scene. Because you were going into that show every time Nate was on screen.
I had to pause it.
Every time Nate was on screen, yeah, and
so mad at him.
half a scene, and all of a sudden you're like, oh no.
Well, what did he had like the thing with like Ted, right? And he like knocked, but then he picked like the little figurine. Was that what it was?
Yeah.
And he knocked it over, and I was like, ugh, but then he picked it back up. And we haven't really had much focus on Nate just by himself.
Right.
This season yet, except for when he was looking to see how he's been talked about on like Twitter.
You've only ever seen him when he's trying to put on that front.
Yeah,
for
and I got
Rupert
to see a
people.
glimpse, just like you sometimes when he's in the Vader suit get to see a glimpse of Anakin. I got to see a glimpse of the Nate that I liked again.
Yep.
And it just Rupert continues to be more just of a terrible, horrible, awful character. But you know what my favorite relationship continues to be on Ted Lasso?
Yeah, it's mine too.
Jamie and Roy Kent.
Yep.
They have grown so much.
I will be
characters.
I will be
as
actively mad if they use Keeley to throw a wrench into those two. I will be mad about it.
I will be.
I won't be mad about. I won't be mad at Keeley. I will be mad at the writers of the show.
At the writers.
If they do that.
I will be upset because I think the scene where Keeley was talking, I think she might still have some residual feelings for Jamie, but I think part of it could be like, you know, why didn't he act like that when we were together, you know? I think she probably has residual feelings for him. I still think that she loves Roy, but I don't, like, they've done it enough now to make some Keeley references with it that I'm a little worried, and I don't want that Jamie-Roy relationship to be ruined. If we're going to do anything with Keeley, just put her with the woman that's financing her company then.
That's what
just
the internet
get her away from my boys.
That's what the internet wants.
Get her away from my boys.
The internet wants them to. The internet is like, now kiss.
Then again, though, like we've talked about, I feel like we often expect the worst in people, and Ted Lasso is a show that sometimes
you're right. It's a show that often we should know better at this point, I think.
One of the reasons why, when someone asked me, unfortunately, I was at a family event for a relative that we recently lost, and someone asked me, what?
It took
Why
me
are you laughing
you just
about
said
that?
you just the way you paused that, you said we were at a family event, unfortunately, and then like took a long enough pause that I was like, wait, what? And then it kicked in on me what you were talking about.
This is the dark humor I'm talking about. Unfortunately, Not the family event was for an unfortunate circumstance, is what I should say. But someone asked me, they hadn't heard of Ted Lasso, and they're like, well, why do you like it? And I was like, because it's great. But then when I got home and I'm talking to you, it's the relationships, not so much the romantic, but the friendships. Ted and Rebecca.
Living under a bridge?
What?
Have they been living under a bridge? How have they not heard of Ted Lasso?
They were not a millennial.
Oh.
Sorry, Gen Xers.
That's very kind of you.
Yeah. So, like, even before I started watching Ted Lasso, I had heard of it, and I'd seen the skit that he did like years ago before the show. Like, it's based off of that character.
The
already
commercial,
existed.
yeah. I did not remember that. I didn't remember that commercial.
I totally did. But yeah, and would you say, what do you like best about Ted Lasso? It's the relationships, the friendships.
Yeah.
The character growth. I'm big on character growth.
Yeah.
You can get me into a TV show if I see a lot of character growth that's organic. Like Trent Krim of The Independent, formerly of The Independent. He is a character that we were like, at first, and he's like endeared himself to me. Do you think he's writing that book? He found out a secret about one of the soccer players. Do you think he's going to screw him? I don't think so. I don't think so.
They're making it seem like it with the way he's kind of given the glances, but but again, it's just not something Ted Lasso does.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I really don't think that's where they're going to go with it. I don't know where they are going with that, like, observation that he made, because clearly they're going to pay it off in some way, but I don't know where they're going with that.
Like, Ted Lasso continues to knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
We did get the episode on Tuesday again, but much later, and by the time it came out, we were in our zombie.
We got it on Tuesday at like 9 o'clock, and it was like, nope, that's not
we had already eaten our dinner over then, so we had to wait till Wednesday. But like, is that like other people getting it on Tuesday?
I haven't heard of anybody else getting it on Tuesday, but who knows? So, we started a few things this week, but we didn't really get very far into any of them. Like, you watched like an episode and a half of that Shadow and Bone on Netflix.
Got 2 seasons. I think I started watching that. You were cooking on Sunday evening, and it was like a Sunday evening, the Sunday scaries. And I was just trying to find something to watch, so I started that. It was all right. I could see myself going back and finishing it later.
I remember...
It's fine. It was fine.
I remember seeing previews for it and like, oh, kind of magic-y show. And then I come in and see it, and it's like everybody's dressed like it's the 1800s or something.
Yeah.
Like, really even like a late 1800s.
How would you rate? But I mean, you saw pretty much half an episode because you didn't even watch that whole first episode. So my rating is, it's fine. Are we at an it's okay, or are you going to give it a Daniel? It's fine.
No, it was okay.
It was okay.
It was all right.
What else did we start?
I thought we started something else. I thought you started something.
We're great podcasters. Oh, I watched like 5 minutes of that Blockbuster show and decided to save it for you.
No, you watched like the first opening musical cue of the Pink Ladies, and even you couldn't get through it.
I love Grease. I love the campiness of Grease, and I was like, let's watch it. And I'm pretty sure, from what I gathered, I might be totally wrong. I'm like, this is clearly about the birth of the Pink Ladies and how they were formed.
Well, I didn't see any pink jackets, so it must have been.
Yeah, that's probably where they're going with it. But it was too much for me. And maybe I'll go back and watch it, but I can't have you in the room judging me. Because you were like looking at me like, really? And I'm like, all right, I was just
sitting there thinking, look at all these Gen Z actors
I'm sure they watched Grease.
On this drive-in movie theater set. And I got to be wondering how many of them even know what in the world that is.
I watched Grease, and that wasn't of my era.
Is there a drive-in movie theater scene in Greece?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't seen all of Greece, so.
What? You told me you did when I asked if you wanted to watch it with me.
That was to get out of watching it with you.
But you know what was better than Grease? Grease 2.
I haven't seen all of that either.
There's a good cue. Michelle Pfeiffer's in it.
Okay.
She wants a cool rider. You know that song, right?
No.
I want to see OOLRIDER.
You're not going to sing the one they do in biology lab?
Reproduction? No. Or let's do it for our country. That song was like, I felt like their first Grease was like, here's some innuendos, and Grease 2 was like, we're not gonna do innuendos. We're just gonna give this all to you guys. But I like the campiness of Grease. Whatever's going on with that show, cringe. I hope it gets better. Maybe I need to watch it without you because I felt the glaring judgment eyes of Daniel. That wouldn't be It's okay. That would be, what would that be? It's crap.
I don't want to watch this. This sucks. This is crap.
Turn the TV off.
Yeah. I'm not a huge musical person.
You like Chicago.
I said there are select musicals.
Didn't you? You told me you like The Sound of Music.
Do you not recall when you took me to see Les Mis?
Oh, yeah. So
what did I turn to you and say?
Daniel goes, so they're going to sing like the whole time? Because Les Mis, they really do. There's
I'm
no
going
dialogue.
to the bathroom now to take a huge dump.
Like, I am feeling tired. They don't actually speak any lines. Everything is sounds. I'm a very good singer.
Anyways, that's what we've been watching this week. So thanks for tuning in.
You like The Sound of Music, though. You did. You told me you did.
Yeah, Sound of Music is good.
And now we're going to circle it back. Christopher Plummer,
do
who
a
is
wraparound.
a fox in The Sound of Music. So hot. One of my first, no wonder I like the hate to love ships. Great. But his daughter, Christopher Plummer, also played a villain in Star Trek, correct?
He played a villain in my favorite Star Trek movie.
There you go.
Which
and
you should
daughter,
watch with me.
His daughter, what is she doing right now?
She was the villain in this is the villain in this season of Picard. I don't think after this last episode she's the villain in Picard anymore.
No, but she was, a good piece of the season.
Now she's in Pieces.
Pieces, maybe. All right. On that note, that's pretty much what we've been watching this week.
Yeah. So
hope y'all enjoyed a rant. Who would have thought you could mix baseball, Star Trek, Star Wars?
Look at us.
Ted Lasso, look at us. And Grease.
So anyways, thanks for tuning in and giving us a listen. Please don't forget to like, follow, and rate us on your podcast apps of choice. Thank you to the one user on Spotify that gave us a "this is fine" response to our episode last week. We appreciate that.
We do.
Maybe some better words though, because those things we can publish those public, and somebody who's never seen us before might go on and be like, oh well, I don't know. They don't know my scale of rating for "this is fine," so they don't know how that goes. So, anyways,
it was awesome.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to this episode of We Watch TV, a podcast about the TV shows we watch. You can find more from Hope on Twitter @LilRunner or on Instagram @LilRunner1485. And Daniel is on Twitter @TheRealHoboDan. Drop us a line if you like the show or have a question you'd like us to address on a future show. Music for today's podcast was provided by Your Tunes from Pixabay. Artwork was created using the AI program Midjourney with prompts written by Daniel.